Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we're here for our weekly podcast, talking all the latest in sports entertainment. And I'm joined by, as I am each and every week, by Calvin Thomas. Justin B.A. Bobby Harris is on his way. He'll be here shortly. Calvin, how you doing tonight?
It's a good night. It's a good night. How you doing? How you doing yourself?
Hey, man, it's been busy, man. I'm not even going to begin to lie to you. This week has been challenging. And it's like, I think, you know how right before you go on vacation, you trying to rush to get everything done. And it's like everything because I'm off. Thank God for grace. Next week week and a half.
Okay.
I ain't going back into that till New Year.
I feel you.
So this week has just been throwing every wrench at me. I've been trying to, processes and systems going down, having issues with techs at work. Then, of course, the second job, we had Army Navy Saturday, which impacted the first job because the hotels was just, man, we had so many. There's a lot going on.
Crazy.
A lot going on, man. Now, how about you?
Nothing much. Enjoying
hey, man,
the little one's birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday. Yeah. Toby turned 7. Good God, man.
No, time flies. I feel old.
Oh, God, man. 7. Wow. That's crazy. What up, Justin? Welcome in, Justin B. to Bobby Harris.
Welcome back.
Who has not been here in a couple weeks now. Welcome back, buddy. Glad you back in the land of the living, feeling better.
Man, a lot of things happened over the last 2 weeks. I'm glad I'm back. Well, first and foremost, shout out to Young Cole. Sorry I couldn't attend. I was watching the other Rugrats.
Wifey,
much blessings to the young king.
Definitely enjoyed themselves. So I appreciate them coming through.
Well, we got stuff to cover tonight. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
You can go straight to basketball if you want to. I don't think we need to talk about nothing else. I mean, I'm just gonna be real with you.
You want to talk about Tampa Bay?
That's the funny part. I only was able to prepare football tonight, so we're gonna talk off the cuff when we get to the basketball, the wrestling, all that. I don't have no slides on fantasy football. I don't have none of that.
We ain't gonna talk about fantasy football.
Yeah, that damn, bro. You had a rough week. I didn't even think about that. But hey, the Knicks came through for you. I mean,
that's why I said that was the only bright spot.
When might be a bad omen though.
When is Banner night?
We're not having that.
I think y'all ain't hung nothing in 40 years. You gotta celebrate.
First and foremost, it's about the NBA championship. We don't do small trophies here.
I love
it. Y'all do trophies at all? I ain't know that.
We do divisions.
Hey, I like the gusto. I like it. But we got some football to talk about too, because last week, week 15, interesting week, man. Interesting week. If you were here with us last week, me and Calvin went through our picks, and we're gonna get into them. I had a hell of a week. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about that. Calvin, he had a not good week. Justin, jeez, maybe you should have just sat this one out. Maybe you shouldn't even sent your picks in late. Cause geez, it's like whatever you pick.
We all lost that game. So I ain't worried.
Nah. We'll talk about it in a second. Good God. Anyway, let's start kicking off with the Ravens defeating the Cincinnati Bengals by the score of 24-0. A complete utter shutdown and beatdown of Joe Burrow. Justin, you weren't here last week, so I'm gonna start with you. I'm not even gonna talk about the Ravens. I need to talk about these Bengals for a second. Joe Burrow made some comments last week going off after his loss to the I think it was the Buffalo Bills. The Bills had walked him down in the snow. And then Joe made some comments about him not, I don't know. It seemed like he didn't want to play football no more. Like people were questioning whether it was about his health, was about he just didn't want to play in Cincinnati. And then he goes out there and lays a goose egg. I'm not putting it all at his feet. He threw a lot of yards. People saying him and Ja'Marr Chase had like 100 and he had a lot of yards. I mean, it wasn't like the ball wasn't moving.
Jamal had a lot of yards. He didn't have too many yards.
But then you got to take into account T. Higgins wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like they weren't at full strength. So that comes into play. Justin, talk to us. What's your thoughts about what you saw last week from Joe Burrow after all his comments and everything?
You know, at first I thought that he was going to perform very well in spite of said comments. You know how some players just like to throw an apple out there and see who bites at it. And of course the whole league, the whole football world, was biting at it. I just thought that he was being facetious with everything. I didn't think he was being 100% accurate with it. It turns out he was 100% accurate with it. It turns out that he just nailed this thing in, man, and mailed it in. Like I said, he only had like 225 yards. Chase had a great game. Chase had the 10 catches and 100+ yards and things like that. No touchdowns, obviously. But when you can't move the ball, when the Ravens look like the old Ravens when they're doing handoffs to score and things like that, remind you of Ed Reed for a split second and then it went away. Just for a split second and then quickly went away. I think the Bengals are done for the whole entire for the rest of the season. And like I said, these are not brash statements on anything like that. It's just they're done. They're cooked, and their leader led them astray. It makes me wonder why he tried so hard to come back. If you really felt like this, if this rehab was tougher than other rehabs, then you just sometimes you just gotta be quiet. See what you can do in the off season. And, maybe relocate. If you can't relocate, then it might be time. Look, he's at that age where those early retirements start to happen. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and the boys, Andrew Luck. It's not the first time we've seen people retire seemingly in their prime or either just on the cusp of it or whatever the case. So, I think it's time for him to really think about that. He needs to have some conversations with Cincinnati, with his partner Jamal, and see what they're going to do moving forward. But he is done. This team is done. And we'll see what happens in the future when it comes to Cincinnati Bengals. It's not bright.
What's your thoughts, Calvin?
He sounds like a former Cincinnati Bengal quarterback, Carson Palmer, in my opinion. Cincinnati just has a way of wearing on players. I don't know if it's the not winning. I don't know if it's just the culture. They've had 2 playoff seasons out of the last 6 or 7, and both of those seasons it was because Lamar Jackson was hurt. It just gets to be frustrating to losing. At some point it eats at you. You're coming off. This is a guy that was on a team that went undefeated in LSU, won a national championship, won a Heisman, comes to this program, tries to turn it around, and all of a sudden, this is year 6, and he's going to go through another losing season. Hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years. Hasn't played a meaningful game in November, December in 4 years. It gets to you at a certain point. And we know this organization. We know the ownership. We know how cheap they are, and we just see how they've refused to either if it's the coaches stay too long and let them way out there welcome, not get the necessary players on defense. Now does Joe Burrow deserve some sort of blame because he asked him to re-sign Lamar Chase? He asked him to re-sign Higgins. He asked him to re-sign the defensive lineman Hawkins. Blanking on his name right now. Trey. Trey. He asked him to re-sign him as well. They re-signed all 3 of them. But it still doesn't have an offensive line. It still doesn't have a defense. And at what point do you feel as though are you tired of having to play perfect football to win a ball game? If he is perfect, they have a chance to win. If he is less than perfect, making mistakes, throwing interceptions, they don't have a chance to win. And at some point, that just gets at you, and you wonder, is it worth it? And you know how Cincinnati can be, how difficult they can make it for him to leave if he wants to, because he's under contract. So it's just frustration on my part, on his part, in my opinion. But will anything change next year? That's the question.
I kind of see this a little different. I hear both of y'all, and I agree with y'all to some extent. But to me, this comes off as just a guy who's tired of getting hurt, and his body's breaking down on him. And it's sour grapes. I mean, at the end of the day, look what just happened. When he came back, everybody was like, Why is he coming back? The season is done. They won one game. Uh-oh, here come the Bengals. They won another game. Oh, they on a run now. They beat the Ravens in Baltimore on Thanksgiving night, and people threw a parade. They won the next week. Everybody's like, oh, the Bengals, the most dangerous team in the league. Like, that happened because they thought they had a chance. And guess what happened the next week? They in Buffalo, just smoking them. I mean, going up and down the field in the snow. They had a double-digit lead on Josh Allen in his house. And I better call him Carson Palmer, Lord help. But, hey, it is what it is. He was out there throwing the ball. They was calling him Joe Cool and everything. Like, my man's doing his thing. He throws an interception for a touchdown. Comes right back on the next play, throws another interception. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, you don't have a love for the game no more? To me, it comes off like, bruh, we lost. It's over. The season's done. Okay. But you had a chance. People keep blaming the organization. And I'm like, I get it. But how many organizations would kill to have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown? Like, come on. And one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They've done their job to put the offensive pieces on the field. I'm not saying the defense is the greatest, but they ain't terrible. Like, even in this game, they sacked Lamar 4 times. The game was a game until the Ravens made a drive right before halftime, and then that was it. You know what I mean? Like, the defense kept them in the game. The defense is what won them the game on Thanksgiving night. So, I mean, do your part. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're the leader, if you that guy, if you want to be, you the guy who beat Patrick Mahomes and people crowd from the minute you came into the league, Joe Burrow was put on the upper echelon, right or wrong. Like, he went to the Super Bowl early. And unfortunately, once you go early, you held to that standard forever if you don't get the job done. Like, I'm sorry, I ain't crying for the man. I get it. The injuries do add up, though. And at some point, maybe you're just not built for this. People say the same thing about Tua. People say Tua, he can't stay healthy, can't take a hit. Why we don't talk about Joe Burrow the same way? I mean, I get it. It's a concussion thing with Tua, but this guy, it's a foot, it's a hand, it's a this. It's always something. Go ahead, Justin.
So, you made a point in your last minute of talking. The thing is, now that Patrick Mahomes is out the playoffs,
door wide open.
Not necessarily that. It's the fact that we can't, like, the mystique was Patrick Mahomes is always going to the Super Bowl. He's always there. And Joe Burrow was the one to interrupt that. Mm-hmm. Well, now once the man's not making the playoffs, it doesn't even have the same, polish to say, oh, yeah, he was the person that beat Patrick Mahomes to go to. No, you were just a guy that got lucky to go to the Super Bowl early. Like, so even his own thing that he was pretty much holding on to, that's even now is muddied in a sense. So, like, he got to update his resume, period. So either update it or get out the league.
Period. Yeah. And we hold everybody to a standard. And if you want to be considered, look, what is the difference between him and Justin Herbert or what? They get hurt.
That one Super Bowl
appearance. So let's just call it what it is. He beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and that rarely happens. So I will always give him credit for that. He did do that. But you know who played defense and stopped Patrick Mahomes? The Cincinnati Bengals. The same team that these people are saying that the team don't never put him no help on the field. Cincinnati had a pretty good defense that year, and they couldn't get the job done in the Super Bowl. So call it what it is. I'm just saying. I'm just tired. I've been hearing this for the last 2 weeks. Oh, poor Joe Burrow. It's just so hard to play in Cincinnati. You don't have this. They had to clean the snow out their seats Sunday.
Everybody has to do that.
I work at M&T Bank Stadium. You know who cleaned those seats out?
The fans.
The fans and security.
They pay you $10 and give you a ticket.
That happens everywhere. Don't make it seem like this is a Cincinnati thing. The snow was falling right before the game. You think they had time to get a cleaning crew in there to clean every seat off? No, they asked the fans to clean the seats. Why y'all making this a thing? Like, that happens everywhere. Like, they try to just make it like Cincinnati like this. Oh, it's a terrible play. Poor Joe. He has to play in front of the worst conditions. Like, make it out of here. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and Chase Brown, and a lot of teams would kill for that talent you got, bro. Get the job done. Stay healthy. Do your job. To this game, the whole hum, Ravens win. It's a good win. We needed it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you do this last week or the week before on Thanksgiving night, we're not fighting for our lives. But right now, the Ravens in trouble. I mean, it is what it is. By Pittsburgh winning on Monday night, it put the Ravens in a position where they got to win every game. And if they win every game, they in the playoffs. Pretty much the playoffs is now. You know what I mean? They play in New England, right, Sunday. New England, the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. This is essentially the first round of the playoffs. The top seed versus the bottom. You need to beat the big dogs if you want to go far. If you beat New England and make a statement, that could send some ripples, but you still got to beat Green Bay the next week. Like, you put yourself in this position where you have no room for error, and that's on you. Pittsburgh, you had them last week, but unfortunately, that Isaiah Likely catch wasn't called a catch. Can't cry over it no more. Win the rest of your games, and you in. Calvin?
Was that a catch, Justin?
No, I'm going to the rules. Just go by the rules. Trust me. I wanted to say the same thing about Kyle Pitts on Thursday Night Football. They went by what they went by.
They missed that one because he was out of bounds when he fell. But
it is what it is.
Couldn't tell it was bang bang.
It is what it is.
It was either his hand or his elbow, or his butt.
I think it was his elbow.
It was between the elbow and the butt.
Yeah.
I
mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, Calvin, are they getting in?
Look, I think the question that becomes: do you think they beat New England this week? Because I think Pittsburgh loses to Detroit. So if they're tied, from what I understand, next week is irrelevant because it still comes down to week 18 because they're going to come down to tiebreakers.
Yeah,
so you need Lamar to get healthy. You can sit him against the Packers. You can give him his bye week then and make sure he's healthy against the Steelers. I think they get in. I think they could win 2 out of 3. I think they could beat Pittsburgh. I think they could beat New England, and I don't think the Packers game matters. But Pittsburgh has to beat Detroit. They have Baltimore, and I forget who their third game is. I can look it up real quick. But
I Miami.
I don't think the Ravens need to win all 3. They can't lose a game.
No. What my point is, if the Ravens win this week and Pittsburgh loses to Detroit, they're tied once again, right? The Browns. They're tied once again. Next week doesn't matter because they're both playing because Pittsburgh plays the NFC team this week and Baltimore plays the NFC team next week. So the tiebreaker is going to end up being common opponents, common AFC opponents. And the last one will be Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so I guess let's just say y'all lose. Y'all play New England this week, right?
Yeah.
Sunday night.
So you lose against them. Let's say
if they lose against them, it's a wrap. If they lose against them,
it's not over.
Pittsburgh
loses against the Lions. Okay, wash. We just advanced a week. Now this is why Steelers had a favorable schedule because they probably will beat the Browns, and then y'all will have to then beat the Packers. That's where the difficulty comes. That's the mid game between the finale. But if they if y'all can't necessarily get past the Packers, then the finale is a moot point. They got a game up on you, in a sense. So y'all have to win against the Packers. If y'all lose this week, win against the Packers, which without Micah Parsons is a lot easier, and then beat the Steelers in the finale.
I think Watson, I guess, will be back because he got a concussion. So
it's tough either way. Again,
you got to win.
Only thing you can control is win your games. That's it.
And look, you can guarantee if they win, if it's tied going to week 18, that's the Sunday Night Football game. Yeah. You're going to be on prime time 3 straight weeks, most likely.
Yeah, it is what it is at this point. But what did you think about the game itself? Any positives you want to take away that gives you hope for what's coming up?
Look,
I was about to say Zay Flowers, man. He put on a show.
Yeah.
I didn't like that drop. He only had 2 catches.
Yeah, some of them was good.
I mean, Lamar threw that ball right to him. You got to catch the ball.
You got to catch it. That's a fact.
My man's stats. So it is what it is. But I like the running game. I thought the running game was effective. Lamar
they both
sharp.
average over 8 yards a carry. That's pretty tough.
Lamar threw the ball 12 times.
Hey, look, you know why though? Cincinnati was on the field the whole day.
That is true.
That's my point. Joe Burrow was moving the ball. They just couldn't
That is
score.
true.
Like,
The time of possession was crazy because it was 2-1. It was like 40-20, something like that.
bruh, and
But
they would
defense
turn the
held up.
ball over.
Defense
Mhm.
held up. Yeah. So,
I love the heads up play by Van Noy. That was
Yeah.
fun.
yeah.
That gave you that old vibe. And they say Ed Reed spoke with the team on Friday, so they gave you that old vibe. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
basically
it turns some things
just a
around.
second, as I
What's
said
up?
earlier, just a glimpse, like up. No, it's not those Ravens.
Nah.
But it was definitely the old man. Like, look, I ain't got 85 yards in me. I got 15.
But I
yeah,
will
here you go,
say,
young fella.
getting Tavius Robinson
Huge
back,
difference.
huge difference.
Because
Dog.
all of a sudden, Van Noy looks fresh. He's not playing as many downs.
He
And
was
think
pressuring the
about it.
quarterback
He
all
got-
day.
He got pressure on the drive, I think 2 or 3 plays before that, because Tavares Robinson came in on the play that Van Noy
Yeah.
intercepted. But he was fresher later on. The guy from Tennessee, fresher later on. You know,
Yeah,
Mike
yeah,
Green,
yeah.
fresh. So you got this rotation
Green
now.
got a sack. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
And it was huge getting our secondary back intact.
yeah,
Getting what you call him off injury.
Darius.
Yes, Darius
Yeah.
Washington, who was playing sensational last year before he
Before he-
unfortunately went down with the injury. But getting him back, and he can cover. He can
Yeah.
cover like a straight like that.
And-
frees up Kyle Hamilton even more.
Oh yeah, and you got a
Gilman-
rotation now. Now you got a
Yeah.
rotation of safeties. The only thing Teddy went out, he out for the year with the ACL. You
Yeah,
saw
that's-
it on the
that's-
punt
that's-
return.
He is
And I
second
don't-
leading tackle on the team.
I don't know how much you could trust Trenton at this point. He's been there this is 4th year,
He's
and
just
you're still
not
making
that
the
guy.
same mistakes. You're basically just a downhill blitzer. You can't cover, you can't read the gaps.
I think they're just gonna run more safeties and
I was gonna say
corners out there.
Hamilton's gonna be out there more, especially
Yeah.
with the Darius back, and you can have 3 rotation safety.
Darius can play the back end and come up and cover the
You're
run.
gonna have Hamilton.
But the weak
Yeah.
link is Marlon Humphrey. I'm sorry, man. I've seen enough. Now, against New England, you can get away with that. But you can't let that guy Booty get over the top. You can't
Yeah.
allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And again, Diggs not going to beat you deep, but he'll eat you up in the mid range. They got a little. We're gonna talk about that game in a minute, but it's some stuff. Stark's playing good. I saw some plays that were shaky, but I think overall it's Jamar Chase. I mean, it is what it is. He's gonna get his plays, but as a unit, if they win that Pittsburgh game 2 weeks ago, we talking
Yes,
about a
sir, yeah.
completely different team
He's still
last
over
year,
there.
man. It just sad, man. I really think the Ravens have dug themselves a hole that's going to be difficult to get out of. But the only way they will is if they play good defense. They could beat New England. And we'll see what happens in Green Bay. That's a road game. That's
And you know what's crazy?
I told you what I tell you last week. The Ravens play better where on the road.
You know what's
On
crazy
the
though?
road.
You get in and you a 4 seed, and all of a sudden Buffalo's a 5 seed. Dare I say that's your toughest competition in the AFC? Because no one else as a whole scares me. I don't care if you go to Denver. Like, okay, it's Bo Nix.
You
Okay.
got a chance.
Any other point, I got Lamar Jackson. You don't.
I'm telling you, if we get in, it's only one team that scares.
You won't see
not
them first.
scares me, but
I think you see them
makes
first
me-
round. Well, I guess if
It's
you
Josh
beat
Allen.
New England, I guess you won't see them first round.
we have
better
to run the
chance.
football. And I thought getting that good mix of both running backs out there, it was good. Lord, Falele wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible this week.
He
wasn't.
had terrible moments.
He did, but I thought that Stanley
Yes, he did every game.
like Stanley had his issues too. Anyway, Justin, any thoughts before we move on? Because we got stuff to talk about with your team in a minute.
Let's just go.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, remaining schedule. Ravens just need to win their games, and they'll be in. Period. So Thursday night. Now, last week on this very program, me and Calvin were discussing this game, and I said, "Hey
You
man,"
said Atlanta. You called Atlanta.
I said, "Look, it's
He
something
picked Tampa
about."
Bay, then he said something about Atlanta.
No, I picked Atlanta.
You picked Atlanta.
I picked Atlanta straight up.
I saw the
said-
playback. That's why I had to get my picks in.
I said Atlanta I'm sorry, man. They have y'all number. I mean, it is what it is. They have y'all number. Justin, tell us what happened.
I don't believe they have our number. I believe Kirk Cousins has our number. So
Go back.
we started off, it was a good start out to the first half. We got all our weapons out there for the most part. Shout out to Kate out in field. Hope you hit the field faster. But we got our 4 receivers, and it took a little bit to get going. And once we get going, we was putting points on the board. Meanwhile, I guess Kyle Pitts decided to have the best game of his goddamn career since his rookie season.
It was his
in
best
which
game,
who has him on his
Contract
fantasy team?
year.
I did. And who sat him on his bench? I did, because he didn't perform like this at all.
Oh,
I don't think it would have mattered though.
It would have. That
You
would
would
have.
have won.
I would
would've?
have.
Oh.
Yes. So I'm not going to take that, because he didn't perform like that all season. So that didn't hurt me as much. But when one guy is dominating, I was like, yo, is this Tyreek Hill all over again when he put up 200 yards against us, in which we got back in the Super Bowl? It was very disheartening, but we was winning the game. And then it got to the last couple drives. And this is where everything, the ish hits the fan. If you want to call it, I don't know what a fumble is anymore.
Yo, how they get him back?
Normally, when you have 6 guys around the ball, they call it dead as soon as like the people touch the ground. You don't allow time for an offensive lineman to go kamikaze on a pile to disrupt it in order for him to get the ball. But hey, that could have been a callback from the Bijan fumble, that led to our score. Cool. All right, we squashed that. Moving forward, they go for the 2-point, whatever they fail. They did, we going back and forth. And then it's the second fumble, in which the last drive, the 3rd and 28, that drive and everything.
Terrible.
And everybody was pissed off from that drive. But Haason Reddick, he got to the quarterback, and they said it was a tie. And the tie goes to the offense. I've never heard that.
You heard
Like,
the week
yo,
before against in Pittsburgh.
I'm saying that I never heard it, damn it. So I'm like, if it's a tie, let them scrap and let them see who's going to come out on top. Don't call the whistle then. Like, I don't understand that. But it's the whole thing. And I try to think about how I'm gonna put the blame on this situation. Number one, Baker Mayfield, my guy. You was MVP Mayfield, and now you're barely top half Mayfield. Pause. And it's like, you did throw that interception in order for them to have a chance. And then you needed to connect with Ibuka. You got to put the ball out in front of him. You put it slightly on his back shoulder, and he had to turn around for enough to dislodge the football. That's on you, Baker. That's on you. You do those 2 things. You don't throw that interception, or you convert. We win the game, period. Number 2, offensive coordinator, in which I would not say his name because he doesn't deserve his name to be said. I was waiting for. We have 4 starting receivers. It is what it is. Each one of my guys, Jalen McMillan was starting last year. We got 4 starters. I need to see trips, bunch. I need to see everything I see on Madden, everything I see against the Lions of the world and things like the Rams, the more sophisticated offenses. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't get it as much. I need to see more. Mm-hmm. And third, but it's a big circle around that number 3. My man Todd Bowles. Listen.
Oh, come on, man.
Listen,
you can't blame Todd Bowles for this.
I'm blaming the defensive coordinator because what happens against Kirk Cousins? You cannot play blitz and zone coverage because he's going to find the open man. Why do you know this? Because last year, when Kirk Cousins played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he had over 500 yards because you played the blitz and you could zone coverage behind it, and he found the open man every single time.
In this game was without his best receiver.
He had
that makes it worse.
Yards.
No Drake London.
No, I think he had down there 400 yards. And all he had to do was find the open man. Why? Because you blitz. The blitz didn't get there. And it's like, Kirk Cousins can see over the defense. He can see it. He can see it and form it. He had no pressure when he said, I'm going to throw that ball to the white boy Stills. Shout out to him because who knows where the hell you came from. And he connected with it. I'm like, it's open. I can see it's open. Why are you doing it? Stop. Just stop. And it does it every single time, every single year. And we cannot allow it. When I tell you I'm like I said, I'm tuned in with the Peter reports and the Tampa Bay this and all this stuff, just like y'all are with the Ravens. I mean, we as a whole was deflated, my guy. it was a wrap. We was like, yo, this is over. We don't even want to go to the playoffs. That's how bad this was. But luckily, when the pressure's on or when the expectations is on Carolina, they fail every goddamn time. So we're right back to number one in the division. But when I tell you that I was deflated, when I tell you that this shit was awful, it was. And Todd Bowles did it again.
Hey, man. Hello. Nah, seriously. I love Todd Bowles' passion after the game because he was more pissed off than you were. Todd, did y'all hear Todd Bowles?
This is a week later, by the way. So trust and believe.
Yeah. He was pissed because, like you say, it was controllable things that they messed up on, man. That was bad. But again, it's Kirk Cousins. Y'all know I love Kirk, and he has not been great this year.
Let me ask you a question. Let me cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
When it was that last drive, I'm not going to put it on Calvin, but I truly believe you, and goddamn it, I thought so too. I said he gonna make this goddamn conversion
every time.
He gonna make it was no doubt.
That's what the numbers say. That's what the numbers say. He's a comeback guy, especially against y'all. But also look at the defense y'all was playing. It was third and like 28. Like you know they got to go for it on fourth down. Why would you give him that conversion to allow it to be like fourth and like what was it, like 4th and
11,
8 or something
like that?
11. It was manageable. Like that was stupid defense. So I do agree with you with the defensive coordinator. It's like they accepted the penalty to back him up and gave him another opportunity when they should have declined it and just been like it's fourth down. But that gave him an extra chance to go like 3rd and 28 or something. That was, I don't know. Go ahead, Calvin.
Look, when you missing your top, your opponent's top wideout in Drake London, and you still let the two guys who you can't let beat you, Bijan and Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts had the best game of his career. I think it's easy to say. This is what we expected to see from Kyle Pitts all those years ago, and it finally came to fruition against Tampa when they didn't even need it because they're out of the playoff picture. Oh yeah, contract, yeah, but of course. But look, it's easy to say that there's something missing in Tampa Bay from what happened earlier this year. There's just the cohesion on offense. Even the defense is just playing even poorer than what we're accustomed to. But have you guys really had a bad couple weeks or a bad couple months? I mean, just looking back at the schedule, losing to the Saints as well. Was that the week before?
Saints a little better.
Back to back. I ain't gonna say that. Back to back weeks.
Been good.
Back to back weeks in the division, like the Bucks
y'all
game,
lost like 4 out of 5. What is it? Y'all
something
lost?
like
we started.
No, it's like 5 out of 6.
We started 6-2.
Jeez,
yeah, because y'all lost to the Pats, the Bucks, and the Rams.
We lost against most opponents. We lost 7 times.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, that's when the Pats schedule. But it's with all that being said, you could still win the division and you could still make some noise in the playoffs. So it's not over yet. It's just you got to get over this hump. But it has been a hump against talented teams. I think that's the problem as well.
I hear you, but if they're going to be a division winner and host a playoff game, and it's a good chance that whomever the wild card is,
it's going to be NFC West most likely.
Might be favored over them. Like it's a chance.
So this is what we're saying in Tampa Bay, right? Like, so we got 2 roads. The road we make the playoff, the road that we don't. The road that we is, like you said, we might have Seattle in the first round.
But y'all beat them this year, right?
I understand that, but we're just saying like
in
they're
Seattle.
different.
In Seattle,
we're saying they're different squads. They're getting better. We're getting worse, and we snuck out of there with a win. So it's not on the same accord in a sense. So it's like we do all this stuff to lose in the first round, and then what? Our draft pick is like late 20s. And that's not, or we lose out, and now we get we right outside the top 10, like top 11 type of pick. That could be a game changer. We need a Levante David replacement. We need some dogs in here. We ain't got no dogs. We got a lot of nice guys. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of good guys, which is good. That's what you want, on your team. But you gotta have some dogs. You know what I'm saying? You got some. I ain't gonna go to Dion route and start throwing stereotypes out there. But goddamn it, I need some criminal cases or something like that. I need somebody that I'm gonna leave it at that. We need some dogs.
Look, I'm with you because in many ways, there's a lot of people thinking about the Ravens the way you talking about the Bucks. Like they are very similar. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people we rather just not even push this thing. Let's get. hey, we're not good. This wasn't our year. We failed ourselves. Like, let's
get
not
a
just
jump
be
start next year.
mediocre like Pittsburgh. Let's get this draft pick and do the best we can next year. But I agree with you. I mean, it's tough when you like if we do get in the NFC, especially in the AFC. I think if you get in, you pretty. If you got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, you got a
Y'all
good
just
chance.
say if y'all get past that first hurdle, which could be
Buffalo,
yeah, then skies is bright.
Anybody, y'all got a tough road.
We still got some dogs to go through.
Yeah,
but I mean, you say that, but look, y'all, if it's Seattle, I mean, outside of the Rams game, which was this game, Mike Evans got hurt, correct? And it just kind of went downhill from there, though. I mean, it didn't start well, and then Mike Evans gets hurt, and it goes downhill. But y'all beat San Fran, y'all beat Seattle. You can make the argument that those are two of the more talented teams in the NFC right now. Philadelphia isn't playing well. The NFC North is kind of just everywhere, so you can still make that argument. If you have this home game, you beat Seattle. That's kind of continues the momentum.
Not playing like this. That's the point.
Hopefully, we play the Bears or somebody.
Yeah, well, no about that. Let's move on.
You gotta take what you can get.
Speaking of a team that just say, "Hey, man, maybe it's just not our year. Let's just move on." Another team that I picked because I picked the Minnesota Vikings to win this game, and I told you, Calvin. Watch out for that boy JJ McCarthy, boy. My man was doing that wasn't no good. I don't know what that was. But anyway, I just pick them. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Kirk Cousins, JJ McCarthy, you know what I mean? I still take Kirk over him. But good game, probably his best game of his career, and he couldn't even get his Justin Jefferson involved. Him and they, like, I don't know what it is. They not even like rolling double coverage to him every time. He was wide open a couple times, and they just cannot link up. And either way, I think this might be me, but sometimes when you don't have the pressure, I just always feel like you need to force the ball to somebody. He just said, "All right, I'm gonna throw the ball to everybody else." Naylor was getting open. The boy, the tight end, he was getting open. Like, he was getting tight. Like he just spread the ball around. And I thought it was a very good game plan by the Minnesota Vikings. And they get a good win over an uninspired Dallas team. Yeah. Once again, 2 weeks in a row now, George Pickens is a no-show. Your thoughts, Calvin?
Look, I give credit to Minnesota's defense, who held Dallas's offense to 2 field goals in the second half. Mm-hmm. That's what this game was won. And even like you said, McCarthy, he did not target or get the ball to Justin Jefferson at all. They have 2 catches, less than 20 yards, and he had the most targets. But like I said, he was wide open, we just couldn't get him the ball. But this defense showed up when it was time, and this defense in Minnesota showed up when it was time in the second half, held the offense to 6 points, and J.J. McCarthy did his thing with Jalen Naylor. That offense in the second half put up, 17 points, I believe, 17 points. Dallas's offense couldn't catch up. But if you want to say it's a Pickens problem because if it's a CD Lamb problem who gets a bunch of yards but can't get in the end zone, Dak didn't have any touchdown passes. Threw the ball 40 times. No touchdown passes. Where's your explosive offense? You get a couple touchdowns in the run game. The rest of it just field goals. You can't, if your defense is still getting better, still learning to work together, you have to put up points. You can't put up field goals. You got to put up touchdowns, especially when you're at home, especially when you have the better offense, especially when you have the better quarterback. Now, like I said, I give all the credit to the Minnesota defense and the adjustments they made in the second half. Rotate, double on CD, and make George Pickens beat you. And we see he didn't show up yet again. 3 catches, 30, 35 yards, and started to pout when he didn't get the ball in the second half. But this is all Minnesota's defense in the second half, so I give them credit. But this offense in Dallas is just so up and down, so anemic. If George Pickens wants to be at number 1, he has to play like it when CeeDee Lamb is getting all this coverage. You cannot have get the second most amount of targets on the team and only come up with 3 catches for 33 yards. So you're not getting catches and you're not getting yak after the catch.
Agreed. Justin?
No, to me, it came down to, simple. When you look at the tail of the tape, the Cowboys went 2-12 on third downs. You lose the game every day like that. Not saying Minnesota was like that much better, but when you are down a guy, well, when your guy isn't performing as well as he should, which is Pickens in a sense. I mean, and like let's not that Dak was still having big plays throughout throughout the game. A lot of people was Mingo came out of nowhere and gave you a 25-yard. So people were performing well. It's just when you get into the red zone, you gotta punch that ticket. You have to score. You can't have 4 field goals. It's not going to win you the game.
And you missed 2 crucial field goals in this game as well, which was uncharacteristic
of one of the best kickers in the league. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So either your defense supposed to step up, or the defense shouldn't even been in position to, when you are moving the ball as well as you are. You get into the red zone, you got to score. You got to be better on third down. So I don't want to put all that on Dak, but at the end of the day, you have to convert when you need to convert. It's just as simple as that.
Cowboys on a good team. It's Calvin's team. That's why we talk about them early. But we can move on from them. Moving on. It's over, guys. It's over. The Chiefs dynasty of making it to the playoffs has come to an end. For the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, he's not going into the postseason.
He's not going to make the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, well, that too. But let's separate the two things, because let's be honest, the Chiefs were losing this game and probably most likely going to lose this game before the injury to Patrick Mahomes. So I don't want to lay this loss on the injury. We'll talk about that separately. But the game itself, the Chargers weren't overly impressive. But to go into Kansas City, hold them to 13 points on the road, that defense was impressive. That sent the message.
Especially in the second half.
Offensively, I wasn't overly impressed with the passing game, but the running game wasn't bad on crucial downs. They picked up yards. They worked the clock. Give Jim Harbaugh all the credit in the world for the game plan. They took a team that didn't know how to finish, and they learned how to finish these ball games. 2 weeks in a row, beating Philadelphia last week, coming back, following that up in Kansas City. Man, the Chargers might be dangerous if they get in this. So let's talk about the Chargers first. Calvin, your thoughts?
That defense stepped up, especially in the second half, holding Kansas City to 0 points in the second half. This is before the Mahomes injury as well, so the game was still somewhat winnable for Kansas City. But that defense stepped up, like you said. I was glad to see Hampton back in the backfield. They kind of split carries with him and Vidal. Didn't really see that going forward. I thought
Vidal a little explosive though. He had some explosive.
Yeah, but I thought they would just give Hampton the bulk of the carries and Vidal kind of spell him every couple series. He did have that fumble. Hampton did have that fumble, so maybe that played a part in kind of splitting the carries. But like you said, the Chargers defense played well in Kansas City. It's just, what is going on with this Kansas City offense? They have the weapons. Is the offensive line really that bad? I didn't equate this to the Baltimore Ravens offensive line, but obviously it's worse than I thought. Even with the Chargers losing both tackles early in the season, they were still able to run the ball, control the clock. They were still able to use Justin Herbert with a broken hand. We haven't talked about that. We got to give him credit for that. How he's gutting it out to try and get the team in the playoffs as well.
Justin, your thoughts on the Chargers?
Chargers play well.
All right, let's talk about the Chiefs then. Look, both teams were missing their tackles. So it's not like it was just a one-team thing. And one team had Chris Jones. Other team had Khalil Mack. Look, Derwin James had a hell of an interception. Man.
Yeah. He about to have double-digit sacks.
Again, he was picking on a rookie.
I don't care.
Tackle was doing his best.
I don't care.
I give him credit. He's been playing hard, but I still think this is a case of a trade that worked out good for both teams, because I like Gilman. Gilman hasn't been bad for the Ravens. But anyway, Patrick Mahomes is down, man. He's out. Achilles. We know the timetable on that.
ACL,
excuse me. We know the timetable on the ACL can vary. Some people are able to come back 9 months. Some people are able to come back. Some people take a little longer. Tom Brady got his ACL the same amount of years, year 9. And Brady actually happened the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So he was able to come back the next season. This is week 15?
Yeah.
what's the timetable? People talking about he'll be back week 1. I'm like, yeah, I heard TB12's his comments about how aggressive you hit the rehab will determine how quickly you get back. But again, when you are Tom Brady, where you don't rely on athleticism to be part of your game, I think that's a part of that. But we saw Adrian Peterson come back like gangbusters.
He tore his in January and came back September, something like that.
That's even shorter of a time. So we'll see. I think Mahomes is going to hit this aggressively, and we might see a different Patrick Mahomes next year. Justin, your thoughts?
Sad day, man. It was a sad day. I can finally rest going for the Chiefs. It's over now. But what they need to do is reset. That's what they need to do. They need to take this time to reset and see what's going on with this offense. The offense is no longer high powered as it once used to be. I mean, you can throw it to Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice damn near 10 times a game, but they're not having the impact on the game because you ain't got nobody. I mean, Thornton comes and goes. You really haven't been using Xavier Worthy like you should have.
That's true.
People was expecting a Deshaun Jackson type of a guy, not even a Tyreek Hill. Just give him somebody that can go over the top every now and then, not necessarily a consistent game breaker. And y'all haven't used him like that. So Juju got to go. They got to retool and they have to find a running back, man. I don't know, maybe find somebody in the draft. That's where they should probably focus in on, other than the line. Other than the offensive line, Chris, you mentioned Chris on defense, and he played well, but it was a lot of times in which you can't find a stat line to save his life. You know what I'm saying? So he's not having an impact, but you got to give him $35 million a year. So they got to do some things. Look, that bill has came, and it is due. Overdue, and they're gonna have to work some things out. But I'm giving Andy the benefit of the doubt, and this is it. Like he might be on that chopping block if they can't get out of this rut. If they can't get out of this rut, and I'm not saying chopping block like he's going to get fired. No, he's just going to retire. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's 72 years old.
He's going to retire.
Look, I think they're like $45-50 million over the cap next year. It's an easy reset year for them. And then all of a sudden you have a wide receiver coming out of Ohio State who's projected to be one of the best receivers. The rich going to get richer. We can see the writing on the wall. Kansas City takes the now. If you want to say that they Mahomes comes back, goes hard, and tries to attack this rehab and comes back ready for the start of the season, that's possible. But you're going to have no Kelce. You may have no Chris Jones. You're going to have to reset this offensive line. Is it better for him to take a year off, so to speak? Reset this cap.
That's a long time. When they said that
but hold on. This is the tale of two careers. We saw Brady, the pre-ACL, post-ACL, 3 Super Bowls before, 3 Super Bowls after. If you're telling me Mahomes can play 10 more years, I don't. So
you're telling him to sit out when he's healthy?
No. I'm not telling him to sit out.
100% healthy by week 4.
No. What I'm saying is, if I know we have to reset this cap, and I know we can't protect you like you need to coming off of knee surgery, why would I rush you back? I'm not saying don't play. Well, I want you to get your reps, but maybe I want you to get your reps later in the year when it's.
But let's not act like the cupboard is bare. Look.
How do we say that? So is Kelce back next year? I think we agree Kelce retired. I think how did they get under the cap and continue to get better? This is probably
that $500 million contract.
This is probably going.
You don't want to do these Tom Brady comps. You know what Tom Brady always did?
Restructure. Take no pay cut.
You hold up. Okay. You're comparing them to Tom Brady now.
I'm comparing the situation.
And Tom Brady to get Randy Moss and to get all those weapons and the Gronks and all that kind of stuff and Wes Welkers and later Julie Edelmans and pay everybody.
And most of them came through the draft. That's why I said
just saying, you got to top for those guys to get paid. They stuck around because Tom's like, I'll take less money to restructure my deal and make sure everybody get paid. But let's not concentrate on that. Rashee Rice, I was told, is a top 5 receiver in the league. Like
for the Kansas City Chiefs, he plays like a top 5 receiver.
Well, he didn't this year, and to me,
Because
if
Mahomes,
we-
honestly, if you want to throw that out there, in which, yes, I did say that, but at the end of the day, Mahomes wasn't the same Mahomes as in he was setting Rashee Rice up to get blasted, pause a couple times. I'm like, yo, where's this coming from, bro?
roll
That's
the
what he was
tape.
doing.
Roll the tape.
I'm saying, I know what I said. What I'm saying is Mahomes hasn't been the same Mahomes,
No.
even without his plethora of weapons, because something's going on with his mental that he got to fix.
Justin, I said the same thing earlier this year. I said Mahomes has not been the same Mahomes the last 3 years. Go back and look. And I said this earlier in the year. I'm going to pull a clip. And we went back and forth for a while. I said, bruh, look at the numbers. While we've seen Lamar and Josh Allen put up these career numbers the last multiple seasons, Mahomes has not been an MVP candidate. His teams have been squeaking by. Yes, in the postseason. And that was the point I made. When we got to the postseason, yes, you still most scared of Mahomes.
And when you got 100%. To the postseason, that's when he had more weapons.
But he had those weapons in the regular season, and they weren't putting up any type of stats that made you be like, oh, he's still Patrick Mahomes. We were going off of what he did before. And to speak to that point, and y'all know I love sports talk and stuff like that. I don't watch First Take anymore. I've been gave that up. I listen to Nightcap with Shannon and Chad. But one show I do enjoy is Nick Wright and Chris Broussard, First Things First. And Chris Broussard brought this up like last week, and it echoed something I said. Patrick Mahomes has not been the same, and this offense has not been the same since Eric Bieniemy has been gone. If you look back, you saw that comment?
Because he's blaming it. He basically said the last 3 years, his stats have been down since he threw for 5,000 yards. He blamed last season.
He had a career year without Tyreek Hill, so you can't say it was Tyreek Hill that was pumping up his numbers. But he had a career year the year after he lost Tyreek Hill, won MVP, one of the best seasons of all time. I think they lost like one game or something like that. The next year, they were pedestrian. Everybody's like, oh, they can't keep winning games like this. The next year, same thing happened again. Remember, they won in game one is blocking kicks and everything like that. The first time they weren't the favorite. The Ravens were the number 1 seed, and they came into Baltimore. The Justin Tucker's field goal thing happened. Remember when they bullied him before the game? Him and Travis Kelce went at it. The Chiefs weren't favored that year. That was the year everybody thought the Chiefs was gettable. Then last year, nobody expected the Chiefs to make a run. That was Josh Allen's MVP year. Lamar should have won. Josh should have won. Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the conversation because his numbers were pedestrian for Patrick Mahomes. And then we come this year, and we looking at it. They didn't even make the playoffs. They were out of it in week 15. It didn't come down to the end. And I'm just saying, I said this earlier this year. We start looking at this. We can't say he didn't have weapons because that's what everybody's saying. Well, he don't have no receivers. Remember before they weren't catching the ball for him. Well, I think they've been catching the ball. And you just made the point. He's been setting them up for not making catches in places where they can make plays with the ball. They haven't been getting Xavier Worthy involved because we thought what Xavier Worthy doing what he was doing when Rashee Rice was out, when Rashee Rice come back, putting those two together, the offense was going to be even more explosive. We've seen Travis Kelce take it back. Last year, it started, and then this year, it's just continued. He hasn't played like a top tight end in the league. So, yeah, everybody's saying he might retire. I'm just saying, I agree. It's time to blow it up. Like, it's not working. Like again, and you can always go back to why aren't they running the football anymore? Eric Bieniemy, guess who he's the offensive coordinator for? The Chicago Bears, one of the best run games in the league right now. Two-headed monster.
One of the best lines.
Agreed, but that's you value what you put your money into. Just like the Ravens, we criticize them for what they haven't done with their offensive line. The Chiefs in that same boat. I'm just saying, to your point, Calvin, might be time to just say, hey, we ain't got it right now. This roster is not good enough. On defense, we can't get home without blitzing. We can't, they blitz more than anybody. And it hasn't been working this year. It just hasn't. So maybe a change. Maybe you do go say, hey, Eric Bieniemy, come back and take over this offense. Mahomes needs you. Maybe.
Come be head coach. Andy Reid gone. Was leaving.
Not head coach material. Go ahead, Justin. Any final thoughts on that?
I think both things could be true in what you're saying. I'm not knocking what you're saying. You're right. You did call his demise. And once I gave him the, he earned the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
And once
yeah,
once that happened, it was like, all right, bet. So the thing about Eric Bieniemy is the fact that they said that he's too harsh. He holds to he's too accountable, one of the old school kind of a guys. But when it comes to discipline, that's the type of stuff that you need. But I bring him up to say, well, maybe Andy Reid's message is becoming stale at the same time too, right? We're talking about the offense as a whole is underperforming, and the only person that was quote unquote keeping it together was Eric. Well, he wasn't the one calling the plays and all that other stuff too, right? That was Andy's job. That was Andy's thing. So maybe he was masking what Andy was started to fail at. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to hold coaches, especially tenured coaches like that, accountable. But it's a lot of pieces to this pie. And the number one thing is, you're right. They play better with Eric. Point blank period.
Just gotta look at the numbers. I mean, it is what it is. And I think the cupboard wasn't even this full back then. You know what I mean? I think talent for talent, they got talent. Even the running backs confuses me. I don't know if it's a scheme, because I think Kareem Hunt's a good back. I don't think he's an every down back. I think he's a change of pace back. Pacheco's been hurt, but I don't know if you're just going to get a running back walking through that door right now.
No, they could have got Breece Hall. They should have flipped it and got him.
That trade was on the table. They didn't want to make that move.
But why you want to give up that pick now when it's going to be top 13 every round because you're making playoffs?
Well, if they would have made the pick, they had a chance of making the playoffs.
I don't think so.
The Buffalo Bills went into New England and were down double digits and pulled off yet again another comeback to get a victory in New England. Josh Allen and James Cook, for the most part, was the real reason this game was won. James Cook was great in the second half, especially Josh Allen was great in the second half. Not so much in the first half. It was 21-0. A lot of people started celebrating, thinking, "Oh, the Pats are back, baby. They the class of the AFC East." And Josh and James said, "Not so fast, my friend," and walked them straight down. Calvin, your thoughts?
Growing pains for New England. You have this team at home, a team that doesn't play well on the road, in my opinion, and you have them down 21-0. In the second quarter, I believe, and you allow them to score 35 points for the remainder of the game. You only score 10. Growing pains. This is the type of game where if you're Drake May and you're an MVP candidate, you can't let this happen. You score when necessary, especially on the last couple drives. It's just growing pains. This is what MVP caliber players do, especially James Cook. When you have a running mate like him, you have that good 1-2 punch. But New England has to win this game. When you're at home and you're up 21-0 and you want to be, and everyone's talked about your soft schedule, and we've talked about how good you really are not because of the teams you played, and you want to make a statement, this is the type of game that you win. And now we look at you, now we're kind of looking at you differently going into the playoffs, because now we know maybe you're not the team that we thought you were. You beat these teams, but maybe you're just a team that can beat bad teams. But when you play someone of your caliber, maybe this is what's going to happen. So this is a great win for Buffalo. This is a great win for Josh Allen's MVP chances. And if you really look, I think if Buffalo gets the number 2 seed, they're going to the Super Bowl. Their best chance is to have to go on the road and play 3 straight road games, because I don't think there's going to be a 6 or 7 seed that's going to win them games so they can host a playoff game. But that's their best chance. That's the best chance for this AFC to be wide open. If Buffalo was home in the first 2 rounds and they only have to go to Denver, that's the easy path for them to go to Super Bowl, in my opinion.
While Justin gives his comments, Calvin, look up the New England Patriots schedule. Justin, your thoughts?
I understand how this is a great win for the Bills. I like to look at it like this. This is a great loss for the Patriots. Sometimes you need this loss to say, like,
not as a young team.
But as a young team, yes, because what do you do as a young team? You start to believe the clippings. You start to believe the press reporters and things like, "Yo, I'm good. Hey, yo, we are that good." You going out there every week. Yeah, we that good. And then when you don't finish a game, you're like, "Well, hold up, that didn't really happen to us all year." Like, that's maybe we should probably listen to Mike Vrabel a little bit more. He does have springs. He does have multiple Super Bowl wins. So it's one of those things where it's not like Buffalo did a lot to stop him. they still scored 30. Trey Henderson still went off. You know what I'm saying? You know, and shout out to the new age running backs. You know, if you can run a 4.2, can catch and got moves out the galoo, then you pretty much start a running back. Shout out to Gear, shout out to Bijan. But when it comes to like I said, like Trey was dominating. It's not like they shut him down. Can Drake play a little bit better? Yes. Is this one of those things where you need to stay and focus on all portions of the game in order to close the game out? Yes. That's how you take that into Monday morning quarterback when you starting to have the meetings and all this other stuff. We got to close out. So no, you don't go home thinking like, damn, you know, we not, you know what I'm saying, it's all over in a sense. No, we have to close the game out, and we're right back where we should be at. And I think that's how they should take it.
I mean, I hear you, but to me, this is a bad loss. I think if I'm the Patriots, I'm fighting to hold on to the number 1 seed in AFC, right? I'm in competition with the Denver Broncos. I have an opportunity to host every AFC playoff game that matters at my house. The championship comes through New England. This ain't no Jacksonville Jaguars or, you know what I mean? No team where the home field don't matter. You have an opportunity that every game in January and February comes to Northeast New England. Like, are you kidding me? You can't let that pass by. You got to take these games. Like I say, every game matters. You ain't just playing. This is the Buffalo Bills who have been dominating. That's the MVP over there. And you got them down 21-0, and you get walked down. I'm sorry, man. Nah, that hurts. That shows me. And if you're on that team, you're looking at everybody like, damn, y'all, you could stop him. That's when the finger putting start happening. Because at the end of the day, he's the top of the mountain. He's the best in that division. You had him beat, and you let him off the hook. And if he walk you down, if you look at the standings, they only separated by like a game. If they'll get walked down, and now you got to go to Buffalo, they didn't see you coming earlier this year when you beat them. Now they've got your foot. You have their full attention. And when y'all had their full attention, Josh Allen and James Cook ran all over y'all. I'm sorry, man.
You can say the same thing the opposite way. Like,
what
we beat them once.
No. Look, the Patriots have
beat them. They beat them once. Right? They beat them once, and they were smashing them. They were smashing them in this game. You
realize the Patriots have won one game against a team with a winning record.
You haven't done enough you haven't done enough. They got one. That's why I told you I was going to say that for the end. I said pull the schedule up, because if you look at who New England has beaten this year, the Bills was their signature win. If you really want to tell the league, hey, we for real,
they lost
beat them twice. You had them on the ropes. Finish them. Knock them out.
Yeah. If you do that, you the best in the division this year. Hands down.
Good to say,
you knock Buffalo off their mantle.
But we just saw this. It's not like he's a Josh Allen, some scrub that's just going to lay over. He came back on the Ravens first game of the season. We saw it firsthand. They were getting beat. They walked our ass down.
Came back on Cincinnati indirectly.
He was down on Cincinnati.
That was a defense.
Hey, they walked them down though. At the end of the day, when you got a good player down, bury him. You bury him. That's why I tip my hat to the Chargers, man. I tip my hat to the Chargers. They had Mahomes on the ropes. They only had a 3-point lead, and they said, "No, we're not done with him yet." No, and they just like you got to finish those type of games. Anyway, they're a young team. They'll learn from it. They're ahead of schedule. They are ahead of schedule. Just Drake May's second year. I don't think nobody came into this year expecting New England to win the Super Bowl. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's a quote-unquote good loss. That this ain't no, the Rams when they lost to the Panthers a few weeks ago, when everybody was like, okay, that woke them up. And now they look unstoppable. This could snowball, man. This could snowball. Next up, Denver Broncos. Speaking of, you in a dogfight with Denver. Denver Broncos defeated the Green Bay Packers 34-26. Unfortunately, Micah Parsons went down for the year with another, that's crazy, man. These ACLs just popping up.
There's a lot this week.
And he's done. But Denver was able to turn it on at the end. Look, Jordan Love had a couple turnovers trying to press, trying to keep his team in contention. But that's a great goddamn defense out there in Denver. Patrick Surtain had one of the best interceptions you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Running stride for stride with Christian Watson, and he caught the ball like he was the receiver.
Yeah.
Like he's the reigning defensive player of the year for a reason, and he showed you against one of the best players in the league. I loved it. Justin, what was your thoughts?
Bo Nix came to play. That's what.
Bo was the man.
You know, and that's what we're waiting for these young quarterbacks. And we just got finished talking about Drake May, and he should be able to bounce back. You need to have kind of statement wins, especially when you're unproven. Heading into the playoffs, whereas though your team can look at you and say we be good, even if we down, we be all right. Bo Nix never let up. He kept the pressure on. He made Sutton look like a top 3 wide receiver in the league. So shout out to Cortland, you did your thing. You know, and then RJ Harvey has he hasn't been what I expect him to be, but he's been decent. He's been holding it down for them. They're doing just enough, whereas though the defense will take care of the rest. They will make plays for you. It's not like Jordan Love ain't put points on the board. He gave you 26, but at the end of the day, like you said,
but that's why when you say they did just enough, I think he gave him more than you expected. I mean, he been balling. Like, really look at it. Not just the fourth quarter, like early in the year. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. But it's just like for this particular game, that's what I'm saying. Like he did his thing. So no interceptions, no bad turnovers in a sense. And like I said, you just hold it down long enough, and the defense will either already be there at the finish line, or they'll get there. And in this situation, in this game, they got there, especially by Patrick PS2 for doing one of the best interceptions I've seen in quite some time. So no, I just want to highlight Bo Nix on actually being what you want him to be, and hopefully Drake May can take some notes.
This game turned on that Patrick Surtain interception. You get an interception, you lose arguably number 1 receiver on the same play. Yeah. And then a couple drives later, you lose your best defensive player and as well. So all that just bad luck just happened in Green Bay in the span of maybe 15 minutes of game time. At that point, they were leading this ball game, and you thought they had the advantage. I think they scored 3 points after that, roughly. I think it was just a field goal. So just a string of bad luck from Green Bay, losing Watson, losing Parsons, and then losing this game in Green Bay. I'm sorry, in Denver. But they were hanging with Denver throughout that ball game. You would have thought this was an exciting matchup. You thought Jordan Love had finally turned the corner against a great opponent, and then the wheels came falling off.
I will say this, and y'all make great points about the game itself, but I want to tip my hat to Michael Parsons. I think the job he's done, not just showing himself to be one of the best defensive players in the league, but you can literally, when you watch their film, like, he is a problem. Like, he takes he just, like, agreed. Like, he takes so much attention that they have to account for him, that it even frees up. The numbers might not show it, but he frees up his teammates so well. I do wonder what Green Bay is going to do without him, because he has made them such a problem defensively. And like I say, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet with the sacks and all that kind of stuff, but his pressures and what he makes the offensive game plan have to be just to account for him, that not being there, that makes things very interesting in NFC, in my opinion, especially the NFC North. But anyway, shout out to him. Hopefully he bounces back. And, that position, he relies on bursts, relies on, coming up the ball quickly. So that rehab, like we talked about Patrick Mahomes, I think Patrick Mahomes will have an easier time than someone like Micah, who relies on his athleticism and his speed to make himself a difference maker. So hopefully he doesn't rush himself back or injure himself, even worth trying to speed it too fast. But I think this team will be fine. Next up, man, another big match. There was a lot of big games last week. The Rams put up 41 on the Lions. Man, jeez. Puka Nacua. Good God, I reckon, man. Is Matthew Stafford the MVP? I think it's pretty much wrapped up. I mean, I don't see anybody close. I mean, Josh Allen might light. I mean, if he embarrasses the Steelers on Sunday and able to walk down the Patriots, maybe. But I think Stafford has just been the model of consistency. And I remember before the year, even on this very podcast, Calvin was like, he got a bad back. He might have to retire. He might not be no good. Like the man, I don't know, man. He looked like
still
he
picked him to
fine
win the
me.
division.
You did, but you were talked into it. But yeah, man, Davante Adams is the question mark. The severity of his injury, how he bounced back.
On a short
Other
week.
than that, I think the Rams look like the class of the NFC right now. The Lions might not make the playoffs, man. That's wild to say, but it's true. If you're looking at it, they've had a tough schedule. Look at that schedule. Compare them to the New England Patriots schedule, and that tells you the difference between a first place schedule and a tough NFC. And what was the Patriots like second place last year in the AFC East? Just completely different. Anyway, Calvin, your thoughts on this one?
Like you said, this is the Rams are the best team in the NFC, in my opinion. The Davante Adams injury will be significant on Thursday night against Seattle because what tied with Seattle, I believe, but they hold the tiebreaker because they beat them earlier this season. But they can easily flip-flop and be a 5 seed, come this weekend if they lose that ball game, and it's in Seattle. But they're playing the best football. Davante Adams has been playing, especially in the red zone. He's been playing phenomenal football. It's anything. His streak of touchdown catches is just phenomenal. Puka's is arguably top 3 receiver in the league at this point. Only thing I'll say, we talked about MVP slightly. Like I said, Rams are the best team in the NFC in my opinion at this point. If they lose this week, and all of a sudden the Buffalo Bills are the 2 seed come Monday, you're going to have a lot of that talk flip-flop. I don't think you can be an MVP and not win your division. And I think that's the one knock that can happen to LA and to Matthew Stafford if they lose against Seattle on Thursday night.
Okay. Justin?
I was looking at this and I believe the stats are finally out when it comes to the Lions, more so Gibbs. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how you end up having it, but he'll have 0 touchdowns one week.
I saw that.
2 to 3 touchdowns.
He's alternated 0 and 3 for the last 6
and
weeks.
Another 3.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, that's
because they give him
high
Montgomery.
Production.
And he's on for pace for 3.
Only had like 7 carries. Like, it wasn't like it was like tremendously different. It's just I don't know. They can't get him consistent, and once they do that,
catches the ball a lot too, but he don't run it.
Yes, and some of those zero touchdown games, he does have high reception yards, but this is more of an indictment on the Lions. Like, you have to outscore these teams. Like but you're built to do it though. It's not like it's not something that you can't do. Sometimes you're just gonna be in shootouts, man. It's just it is what it is. So you can't expect somebody else to lay on their shield. No, man, Matt Stafford going to throw that rock. That's one thing he going to do. He going to do that as long as he 44 years old, and they might call him to come back and play for some apparent reason. He gonna be able to throw the ball in a sense. So you got to be able to attest for that. And he has one of the best receivers to throw the ball to. They manage their running game way more efficiently than the Lions. Connor Ramos and Blake Corum, like, yo, they're balling together in a sense, right? And they're taking that rushing attack together, led by Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua right into the playoffs. So the Lions, this is a bad loss for you guys. You got to play better. You got to be way more consistent. The defense got to play a little bit better. But I'm not even blaming the defense on this one. Yes, you let 41 points go, but you're built to withstand other teams' offensive slots, and for you to be the last person standing. That's how you're built. You got to do it.
I can't blame the Lions' offense for this one. I thought the quarterback. If
Gibbs would have had a touchdown, they would have won.
I agree with that, but
he needed 3.
As far as they got nothing from the defense. Like a week ago, we saw much more. I mean, you just got to get a stop, man. You got to get a stop, especially after Davante Adams went out. They knew that the ball was going to Puka. You knew it. It's much like we talk about Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Like at some point, you can change your defense, right? You don't have to go quarters every time. Like it was just dumb. It was dumb. Anyway, Dan Campbell, you asked for this. You got it. Real quick, shout out to the Saints, man. Everybody thought the Panthers were, at the Tampa losing on Thursday. All you had to do was go into New Orleans, get a win, and you got a little game lead in the division with still a game to go against Tampa. And you go out there and you let Tyler Shuck walk down your ass and hold you to like nothing. Like, oh man, it was just bad. Running game couldn't get off. The Saints been coming on strong. Shout out to them. Justin, I know you were watching this game intently. Your thoughts?
Intently is an understatement. I didn't watch this game at all. Because I knew the outcome. So I knew that the Saints was going to win this game. Like I said, I mentioned it on the show. It's like, yo, when you have expectations for Bryce Young, he fails every time. It's when you stop having expectations. Oh, he beat such and such. Oh, he got it. He on a 2-game win. It's when he's without expectations, he plays pretty well. But when that pressure's on, and when you have to beat a team that you should beat, he fails, man. And I think everyone's starting to realize that. And it's in his head. Like, this whole thing is on Bryce. Like, I hate to say that, but he plays better. They win this game. He gets T-Mac involved more. They win this game. Yeah, if they ran the ball a little bit better, yeah, I get you. But like I said, to me, it's target. Person of interest is Bryce Young, man. He has to play better when the pressure is on him to perform.
Calvin.
Yeah, we had a conversation earlier this year how Bryce Young doesn't seem to step up in the big games, especially big games that are winnable games. And most of those were at home earlier this year. This one happens to be in New Orleans against a team that's in a rebuilding stage, and you should be better than this team. You need this victory. You knew when you came to this game, Tampa Bay had lost. You knew if you won, you would be first in the division, and you come out and lay an egg. That says everything you know about the Carolina Panthers. When you know, it's not a question. You know, if you handle business and you win, you are in first place in your division in week 15, and you come out and lay an egg.
I agree. And finally, look, man, Phillip Rivers, I know a lot of people have said a lot of things this week. I'm not going to pile on. He played average. He did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, he's 44 years old. He's 44 years old.
He was coaching football 2 weeks ago.
And went out there and took the lead. Like in the
Seattle.
Quarter, under
in
a
Seattle.
minute ago, and gave his defense a chance. And they choked it away. But I'm not going to, like, I've seen Cam Newton and different ones taking shots. I'm like, bro, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't not represent himself well. Fresh off the street. Like, what do you want? Like, I'm really upset with people who saying, like, oh, they just doing the towel the Colts did. I'm like, look, bro, we've seen rookies go out there and turn the ball over, make dumb plays, don't know the play call. Phillip Rivers knew everything to do, and he did it effectively enough that they put him in the lead under a minute to go. What more is he supposed to do? Calvin?
I didn't expect much from Phillip Rivers, especially after being retired for 5 years, especially being 44, especially not having
playing that team
as much knowledge of the offense as he should. Playing on the road in Seattle against a team with a pretty good defense as well, and you hold your own, and it's basically on your defense to win the game, and they couldn't do it. It's not bad for him. I still don't have them making the playoffs. I still think this says a lot about your quarterback room in Indianapolis, in which you've required Phillip Rivers to come out and throw the ball 30 times for the first time in 5 years, and he averaged less than 5 yards of completion. That says a lot.
I tell you this, though. He didn't tap his helmet. He went out there and balled and said, I'm going to do what I got to do.
You hate
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
I don't hate him.
You hate him.
He's
more talented.
He's probably,
as a football player, he's probably more talented than Jalen Hurts, and you hate him.
Stop it. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, Anthony Richardson is still hurt.
Yeah, he did.
With the orbital joint or whatever he got. So
is he?
That's what they said.
During pregame or something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, and I agree. Like, you got to watch out where people are coming from with their stats, with their critiques. Once Cam said something, I said, Cam, you probably shouldn't say anything.
He was a little jealous, I think,
because you was wanting that phone call, and And they didn't call you. They didn't call you. Why? Because you can't throw the ball. That's why. This is call it what it is, man.
I mean, that was when you should still be in the league.
You should still be in the league in a sense, right? And that's the problem with mobile quarterbacks that didn't learn a great accuracy.
But he had that shoulder injury too, and that played a part.
Okay.
Well, you got to work through it and still be accurate. Like it is what it is. This is football at the end of the day. Phillip Rivers had injuries from top to bottom.
He can't push the ball down the field. Well, Cam, if your shoulder's bad, could you push the ball down the field? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So this is a decent move if they do really wanted to play. If he was gaming, and to me, I looked at Phillip Rivers. He was gaming. Like he was out there. Shaking and jiving a little bit, you know what I'm saying, avoiding sacks as much as he could. But this is the move that you have when you have Jonathan Taylor. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just want someone not to crumble over, make crazy crazy indecisions and things like that. So they had a shot, and they had a shot at the end of the day. They had a shot to win the game. Much so, if I had more money, I would have put it on. I would have do some more money on Vegas in a sense. Like I was buying it. Like Phillip Rivers is probably going to come back for at least 2 games and be decent. Like legit decent. He might still the comeback player of the year award. Who knows? But no, I was with it, man. So it was a nice thing. He played so well. Like as he wasn't no bomb burner, but he played so well. It's like, well, damn, the NFL ain't this easy, is it? Like you can get somebody 44 years old off the bench to come in and
to the Colts offensive line for protecting his
being one of the best lines of all of the league, and that's what you need.
If he had the Bengals offensive line, the Chiefs offensive
he
line,
wouldn't have came back.
He wouldn't have
came back.
Yeah, let's stop. But they have good running game, a good offensive line, and the defense plays solid for them too. It's not like the players out there was like, "Nah, we don't believe in this, so we're not gonna play hard today." They're trying to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? They know what the other guy
still got an outside shot, but
if the other guy was healthy, he would have started, but he wasn't healthy either. So it is what it is. So that was with a matchup from last week. Let's get into these standings real quick. Real brief. I know we got much time left, but that NFC West is still up for grabs, man. That Thursday night game is going to be big. San Francisco is waiting to see whoever the scrap is because they lingering. They can hold their own. The North, you got Chicago, Green Bay. With the injury to Micah, we'll see how that shakes out. They have a big matchup coming up. Detroit still an outside chance. It's a long shot, but it's an outside chance. Philly bounced back last week with a dominating victory. We didn't talk about it because it was against Vegas. But for the most part, they said, the hell with you, A.J. Brown. We're going to play our game. And you get your little pass at the end just to patch your stats. Good for you. You know what I mean? Tampa Bay, we already talked enough about them. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. The Jaguars have been damn impressive, man. They on a run. And I think Trevor Lawrence is probably one of the hottest quarterbacks in all of football right now.
They had like 5 touchdowns or something like that.
He was sensational, man.
Had 6.
And again, it was against the Jets.
He had 1 rushing. You're right.
Yeah, it was against the Jets. I get that, but still, it's an NFL football team, and nobody else has done that this year. Again, Houston coming on strong. That division is going to come down to the wire. Man, Buffalo and New England, neck and neck. Man, we got a lot. Pick one, Calvin.
Jacksonville, Houston. Like Jacksonville plays Denver this week, so Houston has a chance to kind of tie them record-wise. I don't know who has the tiebreaker because I believe Jacksonville still has 2 divisional games. And earlier this year, if I remember correctly, Houston beat Jacksonville. I think that might be even with Davis Mills, but no one would have thought that, a month ago, Indianapolis was vying for that number 1 seed with Daniel Jones, with Sauce Gardner. Now the one that we're playing. And
Jesus, man.
They turned into a 44-year-old quarterback. But I didn't expect Jacksonville to be competing for a 1 seed, dare I say?
And they had the number 1 pick last year. Let's re-emphasize that. To get the number 1 pick in the league, you had to suck. All right. And you had the number 1 pick in the league who's not even playing, not on the field, and you're 10-4. Shocking.
Number 2.
You 10?
Yeah.
Who was 1 last year?
Tennessee with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well they suck. So yeah, that shows you.
I mean, they were 4 technically. They traded with Cleveland, gonna get that pick. And that look,
they traded.
You thought early on that pick was gonna be like top 5 or something. Now it's bottom of the first round. So.
There you go. But then shout out to Jacksonville. I ain't thinking they going to Super Bowl nothing. But that's a hell of a story. Justin, pick a storyline. What's your thoughts?
To me, it's the NFC North, man. It's just it's something about. I don't believe it. I just don't believe Chicago's is good, right? Every week, every week, and it's just one of those days where it's like so they're going to going to the playoffs, right? They clinched that, so it's going to be them in the playoffs, and I'll be like, week 1, see, I told you, right? So that's just how I feel about that. I just don't believe that they're going to win significantly anywhere. But that's to say who gets in. I believe all 3 teams from the NFC West gets in. I don't want to go back and forth with that. I think all 3 of them gets in, and then division winners from here on out after that. So hopefully you win your division.
Yeah. So right now you're looking at the top seeds as the Rams and the Broncos, 2 very good, well-balanced teams, both sides of the ball. Holding on to those 7 seeds of the Houston Texans and the Green Bay Packers, who in all rights, man, they could be higher. You know what I mean? I think the difference between being a 2 seed and a 7 seed is very narrow right now. It's very narrow. If I had to pick one team that stands out as a sore thumb, we didn't talk about them because they had the Monday night game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are interesting. They play Buffalo this week, and by all accounts, they'll be the underdog in that matchup. I think that's the team almost everybody. If you polled the Broncos, Texans, Patriots, Detroit, excuse me. If you polled all of these teams and they said who you want to play, I think it would be a toss-up between the Chargers and the Steelers in the AFC. What's your thoughts, Calvin?
Yeah, I think you're angling for that 4 seed because you want to play that AFC North team. I think that's the safe bet, but I also think I don't know if anyone's really scared to go to Jacksonville because you're looking at who's in the playoff race. Most of these you have a lot of cold weather teams and your teams are playing the dome. No one's really scared about Jacksonville's home field advantage. You feel like you can go in there and win. Does that win against Kansas City look better or worse at this point? You start to question some of their scheduled wins, which is the same thing you do in New England. So you can make an argument as long as you're not playing the AFC East winner, Buffalo, New England, then you got a pretty good matchup of your wild card team, at least right now.
What's your thoughts, Justin?
It's interesting to say the least. And I don't know if you're going to see teams jockey for position or not. You don't want to play around like that, especially with football. But at the end of the day, I look at that Steelers seed and I'm like, yo, they can beat the Chargers. I don't see that they can't. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what resurgence Aaron Rodgers can get once he gets to the playoffs. And then it's on to Denver, in which he will have a vast exit. But moving to the NFC, that's just interesting, man. I think all these teams are legit. I think every last one of these teams, especially if Tampa Bay can actually play like they can freaking play. I tell you what, I don't want to see Carolina in that spot. I'll say that. For that 4th seed, and I'm not even being biased, Tampa Bay gives better matchups for everybody versus Carolina being there in a sense.
If I had my choice, we put the lines there and we really take this thing up another notch. But I
want to see a playoff game in Carolina.
No,
Carolina won't see a playoff game in Carolina. But no, like all these teams can be had in a sense, in my opinion. It's just like it's truly any given Sunday. So the number 1 seeds, I think, on lock. I think the Rams keep that, and I think the Broncos keep theirs, and we're just gonna see what happens after that.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I know I've been saying it all year, so it's not like it's coming as a shock. I'm not giving up on the Eagles yet. I know it's 1 game against the Raiders. I just don't think they're as bad as the slide that they went on. And there's still a lot of talent there. And I think they'll be all right. They're going to come together.
The only thing that saves them, in my opinion, at least in the first round, is that their playoff game is going to be at home.
I mean, they lose at home too. It don't matter. But I get what you're saying. They've beaten a lot of good teams this year, man. And I just think they just got the ability to do it.
They one of the most dangerous teams. That's why even out that position, say, okay, let's say everything stays the same. You beat San Francisco. What you play? What the Bears after that? They could beat the Bears. Shout out to the Bears, and it's not me even hating on them. Like they could beat them. I don't think they look at the Bears and like, oh, we can't beat that team. No, they feel like they can beat them. Then let's see if it is the Rams. Let's play football at that point. So. If I'm in Philadelphia, I know a lot of Philadelphians are like, "Yo, it's dead near time to bench Jalen Hurts." Wait a second, that's
and I know for a fact
y'all going way too far with that.
They ain't scared of the Packers without Micah. I tell you that much.
True.
No.
They are not scared of them. So again, I really don't see where the Rams is a big dog. Don't get me wrong, but still got to go out there and prove it. Let's get into the picks from last week. So. It was a tough week. It was a week, guys. Calvin, you picked up 4. Justin sent in his picks, guys. I mean, it is what it is. He did send them in. But to be fair, Justin, you did miss one of the games. You didn't send in.
What game was that?
I can't recall it this time. It might have been
the
Vikings, Cowboys. No, you picked
wanted
that.
The Cowboys.
You picked that. I can't remember it this time, but that's the score. So updated standings: Calvin at 54, myself at 57, Justin at 40. Tough week, man. Tough week for you guys. I did go with some dogs. I said the Falcons, the Vikings. I took Broncos on the road. Not the Broncos, the Bills on the road. I went out on a limb. Calvin, you always go chalk, so I knew you were going to lose. It is what it is. You're a chalk guy. That's what you do.
You didn't take Denver.
I did take Denver.
We both took Denver. Never mind.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
So you start us off tonight. Rams, Seahawks. Who you got?
Rams best team in the NFC. Even minus Devontae Adams, I don't think that'll be enough. They still have too much weaponry on offense, and I'll believe that. Even with that 12th man, they'll still be able to overcome Seattle. I got the Rams.
Justin, who you
got? My mind was telling me to go with the Seahawks, so I'm going with the Rams.
Hey, that might be the answer now. That might be, but you know me, I got to leave the door open to make it interesting down the stretch. I'm going with the Seahawks. Look, they have not been able to run the ball here lately. I don't know what's going on with the 2 running backs, Charbonnet and the other guy, Kenneth Walker. They just cannot run the football. And I honestly was not impressed last week against the Colts.
No.
But it's a division opponent.
No.
I got faith in my defensive-minded head coach.
This is for the division.
Look.
Just about, yeah.
Get it done, man. Jackson Smith and Jigba, if it was ever a day, you got Puka Nacua across the field from you. Go out there and show them why you the leading receiver in the league. Show them why you the big dog. And Sam Darnold, they say you're a choke artist. They say you don't perform well in big games. They say the Rams got your number. Go out there and show them that you can put on a show in a big game against a division rival. Let's go Seahawks. Let's go Hawks. Let's go at home. 12th man, the original 12th man is in Seattle. Weather might be cold, frigid. Let's get this job done. Let's go. Them LA guys not ready for that. They're not ready. Anyway, next up, Philadelphia Eagles travel to Washington, take on the Commanders. You might say, why put this game on the schedule? I'm trying to pad their wins, okay? These guys don't have that many wins, especially Justin. So hopefully he does the right thing. Justin, who you got?
I'm going with the Commanders to lose this game against Philadelphia. No, I'm going with Philly. Yeah.
I'm just trying to pad your wins. It don't look good. Go ahead. Calvin, Eagles.
Philly, no Jalen Hurts. Philly.
Next up, Green Bay Packers travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. Look, guys, this is a big matchup, man. If the Bears want to be who they claim that they are ready to be, they have to win this game. You know, the talk all was the last game about comments that were made about I never lose to Green Bay, and that happened. Caleb Williams threw an interception on the last play, basically the last play of the game. They lose the game, 2 weeks ago? So it's the rematch, but this time it's in Chicago. They've been running the ball well. They don't have Micah in Green Bay. I'm going with Chicago at home. Let's go Bears. Calvin, who you got?
Yeah, got the Bears. No Micah, no Christian Watson. I don't know if they have enough. Can they rebound from that in a week on the road? Chicago's I'm basically playing with house money. I don't think anyone expects them to be in this position this late in the season. They have a home game. They're going to have the crowd, and it's against Green Bay. I think when Micah isn't out there, there's a little bit of pressure on everyone else, and that maybe that translates. And you're playing one of the best O-lines in the league as well. This run game has been phenomenal outside of last week in Chicago. So I'm gonna go with Chicago.
Justin, who you got? You know what your first
I want to go Green Bay. And as a result of my personal feelings, I'm going with Chicago Bears.
Interesting. Okay. So all of us going with Chicago. You know, that's a kiss of death. KOD is what they call it. Next up.
They'll be tied next week.
Here we go. First of two. Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. It's a huge matchup in NFC South. Tampa Bay coming off of a terrible loss last week, but then Carolina felt like, oh, no, hold my beer. I can top that. Then they lose to New Orleans.
Anything you could do, I could do better.
Justin, who you got?
My heart is telling me to go with the Bucs, and as a result of this type of thinking,
you ain't doing that.
I am not going with the Carolina Panthers. I will stay home with this one. We got to beat them, man. If you know, it's not over. As much as we are in a gloomy state right now, it's not over. We can turn this thing around. We just got to play better, and let's see what happens after that point. So
in a gloomy state.
If anything, shout out to Mike Evans for calling out everybody. He cursed everybody out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike on that, man. We needed that.
Todd Bowles did too. I love Todd Bowles.
Nobody give a shit about Todd Bowles.
Calvin, who you got?
I need to see Bryce Young play well in a game that matters at home. Until then, why should I believe in him? Why should I believe in him leading this team? I'm gonna go with Tampa.
Me too. I think Tampa's the better team. If you were going to man up and show me something, it would have been last week. But you lost all faith from me.
When you had 3 days to know that if you win, you're in, and you still lay an egg.
I can't excuse that. The Los Angeles Chargers traveled to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. I was thinking about this game in regards to the wild card. But even looking at that, I think the Chargers have so many wins, I don't think it matters. I don't think they can lose that wild card spot, can they? So I don't know if they will take that into account and ease off the gas. I think they're in. I think it's all about seeding at this point as far as that wild card. So because of that, I would not be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys won this game. So I'm going with the Cowboys. I think they need to show something, have some type of personal pride, and I think they're going to win. Calvin?
I think they still have to win to be in because the Colts beat them head to head. And technically the Colts can still tie them. So that's why it's not.
But
that's why
I still got the Cowboys.
Oh, well, I mean, I got the Chargers. No, I don't care where they're playing. This offense has been so up and down the last couple of weeks. You're going to tell me that George Pickens is going to get out this funk. This is his contract year, and that doesn't make you play hard each and every week. I don't know what will. And then on the opposite side of the ball, Khalil Mack, Olway have been playing phenomenal since they've got together. I think Olway has, 5 sacks in 7 weeks, something like that, with the Chargers. If you want to say he's playing on a weaker side, Khalil Mack just garnered that much attention on a regular basis. This offensive line, for the Cowboys, don't think they can stand up to those two guys on the opposite end. I'm going to the Chargers.
Justin.
Who you go for, Larry?
I went to Cowboys.
Okay. I'm also going with the Cowboys. I believe that the Chargers are finding their stride at the right time, and as a result, it's time for them to slip up. And that's what they're known to do, and that's what they're going to do. They're still going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that they ain't got shot at. It's not none of that, but it's one of those things where we got to keep hope alive. We got to keep drama in the NFC East alive, and this is what happens. So, Cowboys.
I agree. Next up,
we ain't even talk about your boy Tua getting benched.
Look, I said I was saving it for right now. Battle of who really should be there, who's going to be there. Because at this point, look, I don't like some of the commentary I've been hearing. I don't like some of the commentary I've been hearing this week. Look, Joe Burrow went up there and basically told y'all he was ready to quit. He didn't want to be there. Tua has shown no signs of that. They had won like 5 in a row. Like they lost in Pittsburgh in the cold. What did you expect? The Dolphins never win in the cold cities. It's not something new.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at that game, it was like 3-0 for most of the game in the first half. Like the Dolphins didn't quit. Like no, don't no. Nah, they fought hard, man. And then it was a couple plays here or there that broke it wide open. I'm going with the Dolphins at home, man. They at home is warmer.
You're taking Quinn Ewers over Joe Burrow?
Oh, Tua not playing?
I just said he was benched.
Oh, they did bench him. Oh shit. Oh, I'm going with the Bengals. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know they actually did it. I thought he said it was on the table. I've been busy today. I didn't even finish.
No, it came out today. It came out this afternoon that they're going with Quinn because they signed.
Zach
Wilson was the backup.
If I was as close in the standings as you are to him, I wouldn't have said shit. You are a good guy. Nigga, that would have been on wax. That would have been on wax. And
why would they bench Tua?
I wouldn't have said nothing.
One game, he won 5 in a row.
Because the season's over for them, and they want to see what they got in the rookie. That's what that is.
I get that, but damn, see that's disrespectful, man. Like they fought hard, man. They were valiant. Anyway, I don't want to waste more time. Let's move on. Jacksonville Jaguars.
I am going for the Bengals too, by the way.
Okay, we are good. Pad them stats. The Jaguars travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Justin, who you got?
Broncos. If it's not one person, I don't believe in it. It's goddamn Trevor Lawrence. So y'all can believe the 6 touchdowns he won't do. I believe when he throw 4 interceptions, that's the Trevor Lawrence that I know.
Hey man, that running game been pretty good too, though. So I think we need to pay attention to that as well. For me,
Trevor been balling all year. I give Trevor Etienne.
He's been solid. Yeah. Oh yeah, Travis. Yeah. Trevor. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Etienne. Etienne.
Travis Etienne and Bigsby.
Yeah. I like the Broncos, man. The way we talked about Trevor
Tank
playing
Bigsby
well.
is on Philadelphia.
Not Bigsby. Tutton. That's the backup.
There you go.
Yeah. They both sound like tutus or some type of tugboat or something.
Like
what? You know what I mean? Anyway, I like the Broncos. Shout out to Bo Nix. Been playing hard, and I think they got something to really play for. Both teams got something to play for because Houston's breathing down Jacksonville's neck. But it's tough to go into Denver and close them out. You can play well in Denver, but you got to close them out. I'm going with the Broncos. Calvin?
Yeah, Denver. Jacksonville's a nice story. I don't see them going into Denver and playing well. They're going winning. Going with Denver.
Yeah. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Detroit and take on the Lions. Now, I know a lot of people picking the Lions, but Pittsburgh kind of been hitting that rhythm. The offense has been playing better. Aaron Rodgers, look, it's not no little cute little story. Just had a lot of dinking and dunking, but when it's time to rip it, he's still throwing that thing. You know what I mean? Like, shout out if you are in a PPR league or you like to play prop bets, take the running backs. Like, those catches out the backfield, that's what Aaron Rodgers does, man. How many times did you see him throw the ball out the backfield the last 2 weeks to his running back, the backup running back? What's his name? I can't even think his name right now. But anyway, he just dink and dunk. And it works. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you start paying attention to that, that's when he hit fire moves. That's when he hit Gainwell. He loves him. I think he had about 10 catches the other night. Anyway, I'm going to Lions because they better. Next, Calvin.
I believe a couple weeks ago we saw James Cook carry the ball 30 times for like 150 yards. I do not see why Jahmyr Gibbs won't do the same thing. Detroit.
Justin.
Did Gibbs just have 0 touchdowns?
Yeah. He's going to have 3.
All right, he's going to have 2 to 3 this game. Lions.
Y'all funny. I got to look into that. Next up, big game on Sunday Night Football. The New England Patriots travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens need this win at home to stay alive. The Patriots coming off a loss to the Buffalo Bills last week will be looking to just keep pace and try to get that number 1 seed back from Denver, but also they have to fend off the Buffalo Bills. Big game, man. A lot of implications. Calvin, who you got?
I didn't realize the Ravens were the favorite in this game until I looked at it a little bit earlier.
At home, you should.
but they're the favorite by more than 3, which is more than the standard.
Vegas don't have faith in.
I'm sorry, no, it is 3 now, so it went down a little bit. Like I said, New England has not beaten a team. Has only beaten one team that has a winning record. And that's Buffalo. They have beaten a bunch of teams that are even. Baltimore needs this win, as does New England. But what I'll say is that New England and Mike Vrabel are 2-3 against Baltimore. Lamar Jackson's the healthiest they've been outside of him being sick today. The defense is getting better. Give me the Ravens at home on a Sunday night in prime time where they seem to play well. Something about that nighttime down the bank. Don't know if they're wearing the black jerseys or not. I'm going to have faith with them for one more game. This is your playoffs right now. If you lose this matchup, it's a great chance the next 2 weeks don't – it's a chance the next 2 weeks don't matter. But I think Pittsburgh's going to lose to Detroit, so I think you'll still have a chance. But you need to carry this momentum going forward. You had a 2-week lapse. You lost those 2 weeks when you had to do a riding high early winning streak. I'm going to go with Baltimore.
How serious is this illness for Lamar Jackson?
He's sick every year, seems like, around this time. So,
and he's been missing a Wednesday practice every week, so I don't even know what to read into this.
But they said he sent him home, so that's what made me think, like, if you sent him home, must be kind of –
He loafing. Go ahead. Anyway, Justin, go ahead.
Coming off a loss, let's go Patriots.
Okay. Look, man, I'm gonna say this. Calvin, you said they play well at the bank at night. They had one of the worst home field advantages in the league this year. Just despicable.
I'm going overall. I'm not counting Thanksgiving. I'm not counting Detroit.
Despicable. And I've been present.
I've been present both of them
every time.
Maybe I don't go to this one.
So. Please stay home. I appreciate that. I'm not working this game on Sunday, for the record. Because it was originally supposed to be a 1:00 game. I had plans Sunday night. I'm going Dorian Daughter's dance recital in the evening, and then I'm going home and watch this game. And then we hitting the road, hitting North Carolina. I'm not thinking about going to work. I have no faith in my ability to go in that stadium and us walk out with a victory.
You're going to be listening to the radio pissed.
I just want to enjoy the game and hope for the best. The key to this game will be don't let Drake May get out the pocket. The man runs. If you didn't see that, he can move. He's a dink and dunk artist, just like Aaron Rodgers. Like, he will hit his running backs out the backfield. You got to bottle those things up. Don't give up nothing big. And the Ravens, offensive line, just keep Lamar clean. Please, for once. Like, damn, even last week gave up 4 sacks. Like, that's too much. I'm going with the Ravens. Playoffs is here, man. Next up, San Francisco 49ers travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. That's that San Francisco defense versus Phillip Rivers. If he's still starting, I haven't heard today officially. Justin, who you got?
Wishful thinking is going out the window. I'm sorry. San Francisco, this might get ugly, by the way.
Yeah. Calvin?
As much as I hate Brock Purdy, they've been playing better with him the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Why do you hate Brock Purdy?
I just think he's overrated. San Francisco.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm giving the Colts a shot, man. Shot to stay, keep it close. They lose. They're going to keep it close. I'm going with the 49ers. So that's our matchups for the week. Very quickly, I know we at the 11 o'clock hour, but we got to talk some NBA. It was a busy week. I didn't make no slides. But shout out to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks were able to bring home the trophy in the NBA
hang a banner.
Cup.
Get some rings.
The third ever official NBA Cup winner is the New York Knicks. Justin, as our resident Knicks fan, going to take your victory lap. Tell us what's your thoughts, how you feeling after a big successful victory over the San Antonio Spurs in the championship game last night.
One, it was a little bit lackluster in my opinion. Why? Because I really wanted to see OKC in that position. So I want to then go back and shout out to Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs, which if people don't know their names, you got De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, you have Vesey. They got ball, they got players. And they
Even
literally took it. They took it to OKC, and Wemby. And the difference between Wemby and Chet is night and day. It seemed like it was close outside looking in, but when they play each other, you clearly tell the difference between the two. So I wanted to give some shout out to San Antonio for that. So when they came into this position, I was like, okay, let's see how we are against them. Let's see how Mitchell Robinson is against Wemby, and he gave him some problems. Wemby gave him some problems too. So we're not going to not like but Mitch is all world, and I'll give him that. But I wanted people to realize in that game, if you could just watch the highlights, you need to watch OG Anunoby. This guy right here is our guy. And when people say, well, if you can get Giannis, you got to put him in a deal. Why are you taking it back? Because you don't watch the way we play. You don't know how good OG really is.
He was sensational.
And he's one of those guys defensively. He's blocking shots. He's in the passing lanes. He's where you're supposed to be after the switch, after the swing to the third swing. He's right there. Like, he's one of those guys that's very important on championship teams that you need. And JB was just JB. He didn't have the greatest of games, but he had a good game, good enough
MVP
for us
of
to
the
win this
tournament.
game. And he was balling, man. So shout out to Mike Brown. Your system, it's working. We were starting to win bigger and against better opponents, starting to win some more games. And we just want to see how far it takes us. But shout out to Tyler Kolek. This is the white boy that we have coming off the bench. So if you're watching, there's only one white boy coming off the bench. And that's
the one that shoots
him.
three. The one that shoots
You've been
three.
overhyping this guy up. Man, stop it. Go ahead.
Not really. He barely played last year because of Tibbs. JC Jordan Clarkson came in and performed very well. And we didn't have Miles McBride and everything. Shout out. You know what? I'm gonna take a shout out away from Josh Hart, because what you did to JB was crazy after the thing. You know what I'm saying? So just Google that one. That was crazy. Put your thumb down, sir. But no, Mike Brown's system is working, and that's all we need to see right now. It's still the cup. Like I said, they said they're not going to put up no banner right now. It's no celebration. I disagree with that. I agree and disagree. I think only two teams should have the right to say no. That's the Lakers and that's the Boston. Why? Yeah, because you got your joints filtered. Fill it. There's just nothing but championships in that joint. Anybody else, I don't care who it is. It's from Chicago, San Antonio. You got six on down. Go ahead on, throw that banner up there, my guy. So I think they should, but they chose not to. It is what it is. I'm supporting it.
Let me ask you a question, but after all you've been said, can you win a title with Jalen Brunson being your best player?
Yes.
Okay.
When he's on, can't nobody guard him.
Let me say this. Look, all that's great. I heard you. Great stuff. If you watch that game, if Wemby wasn't on a minutes restriction and goes out extended stretches, they kept him like 20. What do you hit? 21, 22 minutes out that game. Like, and then he came out that's
going to be his career.
He shouldn't be there. That's my point. He was his second game coming back from an injury. So you got him at the right time. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, the Spurs could have won this.
But
game.
he went out with a calf strain. So my thing is,
I get it.
They see Joel Embiid and they say, "Yo, we got to keep him from hurting himself." So he's going to be on some type of restriction. That's just going to be how he plays. From
just like if you just looking at the game, it was a flow thing where they had to pull Wemby when the Spurs were in reach, and all of a sudden you take him out the game, it changes the whole thing. And where did the Knicks kill him? Offensive rebounds. Oh my God. Mitchell Robinson
was killing him in the post.
Mitchell Robinson had a field day when Wemby was on the bench. And look, don't get me wrong, he was great, sensational. But Cat was on the bench a lot of that time too, because this softy folded. And I get it, he had a little injury or whatever, but I had him on my parlay. I needed 2 points, bro.
There you go. There you go, guys.
2 points for the whole second half. He couldn't get me 2. You can't get me. You got me 10 rebounds at halftime. I was good. I'm like, okay, all right. Oh, I think I took him for 16 or 18, one or the other. I needed 2 points, bro. Anyway, I don't care about the rest. I don't care about the rest. You lost me money. That's what I'm mad about. But Wemby, I didn't expect much from you because of the minutes restriction. But shout out to the Spurs. They coming. They are on the way to being a very good NBA team.
Nah,
and I'm happy with the young talent.
I think they're here, my guy. I think they're here.
I want to see more, and the health of Wemby will.
If Wemby's healthy,
that's what's important.
You know they was winning games while Wemby was out, right?
No, I'm not saying that you can't win games.
I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm just saying like
we're talking about championships. The Spurs are a championship organization. We're not hanging banners for no NBA Cup. We are a championship organization. So when I say we're back, that means I believe they're in contention for a championship. I don't think this team is in contention for a championship. So no, we're on the way. We're coming. We're making that stride towards greatness. And until I can see a consistency, I like Castle and I like Vasil. I like what I'm seeing. I need a little bit more out of De'Aaron Fox.
Trading for Giannis.
Who?
Castle, Vassell.
At first I would, but they starting to gel too much.
I gotta keep
and they built well.
But I do think you can, without Wemby and with Giannis, if you can keep some of that young talent, you don't miss a beat.
I agree with that. But the question is, if I'm the Bucks, I'm not giving up Giannis for less than a king's ransom. You know what I mean? So
they got picks. I think that's more important.
Okay. I mean, I would have to kind of look at it.
And if you get to keep him away from OKC.
You think he would get traded to OKC? Who would they give up?
I think if OKC wants him, they get him. OKC has 10 picks over the next couple of years. They got the Clippers pick this year. They got Utah's pick this year, and they can make the salaries work. So I think that's the easy destination. It's just a matter of what you give up.
Am such a different type of person when it comes to trades. To me, picks are picks. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, when you don't
firepower,
when you don't have Giannis, but they don't have control of their own picks, which is why it makes sense. They can't tank or they can't play bad and expect to get a high draft pick based off themselves. So they need help in the form of draft picks. So I think if you know you're going to lose him and you have 1.5 years left on his contract, then you swing for the fences. There are only 3 or 4 teams. Like, I don't see a Miami giving up Bam. That doesn't make sense. You're swapping issues, which is what somebody had thrown out there. So
I get what you're saying, but anyway, I like Castle. I like Vasil. I like the whole Harper.
And De'Aaron Fox. Good. And De'Aaron Fox has been fitting in seamlessly. I thought it was going to be some issues when he came back.
Yeah, but I want more scoring out of him in big time moments. Sometimes he will disappear and defer. I get your point guard at heart, but take over the game. Let's go. Anyway, a lot about them. Calvin, we talked about the Knicks. We talked about the Spurs. Any thoughts on the Lakers and what they've been doing recently?
No, still trying to get back into the flow of everything with LeBron. I mean, Luka's been playing still at a phenomenal level. They had a loss in the NBA Cup. I guess that was the quarterfinals, semifinals to the Spurs. And this was without Wemby, but their guards just had a phenomenal game. There was nothing that they could do. Lakers could do defensively.
You could play defense.
Nothing they could do defensively. So
yeah, I get it. But it's going to be interesting. Now that the Cup is over. We know traditionally NBA don't start till Christmas Day in the past, but I think the Cup
NFL Christmas is terrible. So you're gonna be watching the NBA on Christmas.
I think the NBA got this thing back, baby. I think this Cup has really invigorated the audience. The ratings have been up. Now I know you don't really get ratings numbers for Amazon Prime, so we don't know what those have been doing. But with the NBC games and some of the games have been on ESPN, the numbers have been pretty impressive. TNT,
you get ratings no longer around. Peacock too.
No, I haven't seen any, but sometimes if it's big enough, they will show you something. So anyway, it's been good, man. It's been good to see the NBA coming back strong despite football. And we're here now. Let's go. All right, so next week is Christmas Eve, which we will typically have our show. We're going to discuss the schedule, fans, audience, and we'll let you know what we're going to do. I think it might be a case where we might take a little bit of a detour. So we'll talk about that and get back to you. But for now, stay tuned for more. Calvin, any final thoughts?
No, Bud retiring. Saw that come
Yeah,
across the wire
yeah.
today. That was kind of surprising. Was expecting to get one more big fight from him, but enjoy retirement. Enjoy your life.
Justin, any final thoughts?
Nah, man, just looking forward towards the second half. Well, to the rest of the NBA season, and
NBA Cup
you know,
banner.
that's all I really care about right now.
Y'all gonna make some Tims out of that or something?
Well, happy
Yes.
holidays from all of us and get off the damn fence. Again, if you're not here with us next week, if we're not here next week, we want you all a happy Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, all that good stuff. And we'll be back as soon as we
For all
can,
the Mexicans out there.
talking about all the greatest news in sports. So we didn't even talk wrestling, but we'll get to that too. Shout out to John Cena for a hell of a career.
Yeah, shout out to Cena.
And we'll be back
Shout out
for
to
another
Cena.
edition.
Shout out
Get
to
off
Oba,
this
man.
damn fence. Yeah, I liked it. Holla.
Yeah, that was good.